Good afternoon, television fans. Big Al here on this Monday, August 4th, 2025, and welcome to episode 18 of Television Station History, as we'll be taking a look today at KTTV, the West Coast flagship station of the Fox Television Network. And we'll be taking a look at how this station has grown from early ownership with Times Mirror and MetroMedia to becoming the West Coast flagship of Fox. Before we begin, like, comment, and subscribe to our channel, ring the bell, and get notified every time I go live. And here we go with the history of KTTV. KTTV Channel 11 is a television station in Los Angeles, California, serving as the West Coast flagship station of the Fox Television Network. It is owned and operated by the network's Fox Television Stations division, alongside My Network TV outlet KCOP TV Channel 13, which is also licensed to Los Angeles. The two stations share studios at the Fox Television Center in West Los Angeles. Channel 11's transmitter is located atop Mount Wilson. And now here are the specs on KTTV Los Angeles. The station broadcasts on Virtual Channel 11 and RF Digital Channel 11. General on-air brand is Fox 11 Los Angeles, and their newscasts are branded as Fox 11 News. And we'll tell you about the sub-channels later. The station is owned by Fox Television Stations LLC, and its sister station is KCOP TV Channel 13. Hello, Anna. I'm doing great. How are you? KTTV was founded in 1947 and officially hit the airwaves on January 1st, 1949. The station previously aired on VHF Analog Channel 11 from 1949 to 2009, and their digital signal was on RF Channel 65 from 1998 to 2009. The station was affiliated with CBS briefly from 1949 to 1951, and then with the Dumont Television Network from 1951 to 1954. King Caesar's in the house. What's happening, King Caesar? And then it became an independent station from 1954 until 1986. That was when the Fox Television Network signed on, and they have been a Fox-owned and operated station ever since. Call sign meaning is Times Television, for its founding owner, the Los Angeles Times. KTTV is licensed by the Federal Communications Commission, broadcasting at an ERP of 115 kilowatts. Their transmitter on Mount Wilson is located 2,963 feet above average terrain, and they also host a network of translators. We'll get to those at the end. Their website is foxla.com. Diving into the history, early years, 1947 to 1954. KTTV's origins can be traced to 1947, when the station's license and construction permit was secured by the Times Mirror Company, publishers of the Los Angeles Times. It was one of 5 licenses that were granted simultaneously by the Federal Communications Commission to parties interested in expanding commercial television in Los Angeles. In 1948, CBS, which owned KNX Radio, purchased a 49% interest in the station and assisted in completing its construction in exchange for making Channel 11 the network's LA television market, or television outlet rather. KTTV would begin operations on January 1st, 1949, and was operated initially by KTTV Incorporated, the Times/CBS owned holding company. The station's first telecast was the Tournament of Roses Parade, which Channel 11 would air every New Year's Day until 1995. In May of 1950, Times Mirror purchased the Nassau Studios, a large motion picture facility on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood, and centralized KTTV's operations there. CBS did not join Times Mirror in the purchase, At the time, its West Coast production facilities were based at Columbia Square, with its CBS Television City facility in the planning stages. KTTV converted the Nassau studios into a major production house for television, producing programs locally and for the emerging syndication market. Prior to the move, KTTV operated out of several different facilities, including the former headquarters of Capitol Records, which was later the longtime home of KHJ Radio and what is now KTTV Channel 9 on Melrose Avenue. Later in 1950, CBS chose to acquire its own station in Los Angeles, pioneer station KTSL Channel 2, renamed KNXT and now KCBS TV, which was being spun off by the Don Lee Broadcasting System as a result of its sale to General Tire and Rubber. The KTSL purchase forced CBS to divest its interest in KTTV due to FCC rules in effect at the time that barred the common ownership of two television stations in the same media market. The Los Angeles Times would regain full ownership of Channel 11 when the sales were finalized on January 1st, 1951. KTTV's relationship with CBS ended after exactly 2 years as the network moved its programming to Channel 2. A few months later, Channel 11 agreed to become the new Los Angeles outlet of the Dumont Television Network, which had been affiliated with KTSL, and before that, KTLA Channel 5. Independence from 1954 to 1986. In 1954, Dumont moved its programming to KHJ-TV Channel 9, which is now KCAL-TV, and KTTV became an independent station. During the late 1950s, the station was also briefly affiliated with the NTA Film Network. In 1958, Channel 11 scored an advantage against its rivals when it became the television home of the Los Angeles Dodgers baseball team, which had relocated from Brooklyn, New York, that year. For the first 11 years, and at the request of the team, KTTV's Dodger telecasts were limited to road games against the arch-rival San Francisco Giants. Eventually, the number of Dodger games broadcast on the station increased, and the home game blackout was lifted. The relationship between KTTV and the Dodgers would last until the end of the 1992 season. The show Confidential File on KTTV covered the 1962 convention of the Daughters of Biltis something, and aired after Confidential File became syndicated nationally. This was probably the first American national broadcast that specialized or that specifically covered lesbianism. The Times Mirror Company sold the station to MetroMedia in 1963. Later that year, MetroMedia purchased KLAC 570 AM and the original KLAC FM at 102.7, now known today as KISS FM. Hey, what's cracking, Crazy Cajun and my boy Joey? How y'all doing? And that would give Channel 11 sister stations on the radio dial. MetroMedia would later engineer a trade of FM frequencies, resulting in KLAC FM moving to 94.7, later to become KMET, now known today as KTWV, in 1965. By the 1970s, KTTV offered a traditional general entertainment schedule common among independent television stations at the time, consisting of children's programs, off-network reruns, sports programming, and old movies, along with a 10 p.m. newscast. Some of the staff members in the earlier 1970s were John Jones, the station's sales manager, news anchorman George Putnam, his co-anchor Hal Fishman, Ken Jones was the first black on-air newsman in Los Angeles. TV sports reporter Tom Kelly. Noontime news anchor Terry Mayo. And Rona Barrett, who taped her syndicated gossip report at Channel 11 and written by assistant Barbara Sterling. With the evolution of cable television, KTTV became a regional superstation, thanks to its Dodgers broadcast and round-the-clock programming. KTTV was seen on various cable systems across the western United States during the 1970s and into the 80s, reaching as far east as El Paso, Texas. KTLA, with its Angels broadcast, also became a superstation. KTTV and KTLA were seen on most Southern and Central California cable systems, with KHJ-TV and KCOP also getting carried outside Los Angeles to a lesser extent. In 1973, as part of an agreement signed with 4 citizen groups and filed with the station's renewal application, KTTV began banning 42 violent animated series, most notably Popeye, Superman, Batman, and Aquaman, while applying a caution to parents, in quotation marks, warning to 81 violent live-action series shown before 8:30 p.m., most notably The Outer Limits. And now the history as a Fox-owned station from 1986 to the present. In 1986, Australian newspaper publisher Rupert Murdoch and his company, the News Corporation, which had acquired a controlling ownership interest in the 20th Century Fox film studio the year before, purchased KTTV and the other MetroMedia television stations. The MetroMedia stations ended up becoming part of a new holding company formed by News Corporation called Fox Television Stations. Those stations formed the basis for the new Fox Broadcasting Company television network, which made its debut on October 9, 1986. Following the News Corporation purchase, KTTV added more first-run syndicated talk, court, and reality shows. By the early 90s, it began to run afternoon cartoons from the network's Fox Kids block, which debuted in 1990, as well as top-rated off-network sitcoms during the evening hours. KTTV removed cartoons on weekday mornings in June 1993 due to the launch of their morning newscast, Good Day LA. In 2001, Fox television stations acquired several UPN affiliates owned by Chris Craft Industries through its BHC Communications station group, creating a duopoly between KTTV and KCOP-TV Channel 13. That fall, Channel 11 dropped the Fox Kids weekday block and moved it to KCOP. Fox Kids would discontinue its weekday block altogether in January of 2002, with the lineup left airing only on Saturday mornings. Since the 4 Kids block was replaced by Fox with the infomercial block Weekend Marketplace in December 2008, the station now airs 5 hours of educational programming, 2 more than required under FCC guidelines, as Exploration Station replaced Weekend Marketplace, which moved to Channel 13 in September 2014. KTTV also airs reruns of I Love Lucy, which had premiered in 1951, months after the station lost its CBS affiliation. Reruns of the sitcom are still popular among Southern California viewers and have continued to air in the Los Angeles market perpetually since the series ended its run in 1957, thus making Channel 11 only the second television station in Los Angeles, the other being Channel 2, to continue airing the sitcom since it ended. Weekday airings of I Love of I Love Lucy has since moved to Channel 13, which airs it in a 1-hour block. But KTTV continues to air the landmark sitcom on weekends during the late afternoon hours. In 1996, KTTV relocated its longtime studios on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood, known as MetroMedia Square, and later renamed the Fox Television Center, to a new studio facility a few miles away on South Bundy Drive in West LA, near the Fox Network headquarters. The network's headquarters are located on the 20th Century Fox studio lot. Several television series were filmed at the historic MetroMedia Square television studio, which was once home to Norman Lear's Tandem Productions and TAT Communications Company, such as The Jeffersons, Mama's Family, Different Strokes, One Day at a Time, Soul Train, Mary Hartman. I don't know why they written her twice. Fernwood Tonight, and the groundbreaking sketch comedy series In Living Color. Most of those programs, either in first run or off-network syndication, aired on Channel 11. The MetroMedia complex was demolished in 2003 to make way for the construction of Helen Bernstein High School, which is part of the Los Angeles Unified School District. On May 16, 2006, KTTV launched a new website based on Fox television station's My Fox interface. This format became standard on the websites of each of the Fox-owned stations, and was even adapted by some of Fox's affiliates not owned by the network by the end of that year. The My Fox branded websites were operated by former News Corporation subsidiary Endplay until 2012, when the sites were migrated to the World Now platform. KTTV launched the Light TV network on a sub-channel starting on December 22, 2016, with another Fox television station, WNYW, in New York. Now, those not familiar with Light TV, it used to be a faith-based over-the-air broadcast network, or multi-channel, not a network per se. On December 14, 2017, the Walt Disney Company, owner of ABC and West Coast ABC flagship KABC TV Channel 7, announced its intent to buy KTTV's parent company, 21st Century Fox, for $52.4 billion. The sale excluded the Fox television stations unit, including channels 11 and 13, the Fox Network, Fox News, FS1, and the My Network TV programming service, which were then transferred to a separate company. Alright, let's talk about programming, starting with sports. Since the teams moved to Los Angeles in 1958, with an exception of a brief pause from 93 to 95, KTTV has carried Los Angeles Dodgers baseball games from varying sources. The station aired road games beginning in the late 1970s, with the home games on the subscription pay-per-view service Dodger Vision. These road games aired on the station until 1992, when KTLA began airing the road games beginning with the 93 season. Currently, select Dodger games are broadcast nationally through the network's sports division via its MLB package since 1996. Channel 11 has also aired the World Series appearances of the Dodgers in 2017, 2018, 2020, and 2024, including the team's championship victories in 2020 and 2024. The 2020 championship was the team's first in 32 years. All other Dodger games are currently broadcast locally through Sportsnet LA. KTTV also airs any Angels games that are aired through Fox's MLB contract, including the team's World Series victory in 2002. Since 2024, KTTV broadcasts select Anaheim Ducks games through an agreement with sister station KCOP. From 1972 to 1974, the station also carried games involving the Los Angeles Sharks of the World Hockey Association, or the WHA, in which the NHL would grab a few of its franchises in 1976. With the return of the Rams franchise to Los Angeles, KTTV since 2016 has been the unofficial home for the Los Angeles Rams through the network's primary rights of the National Football Conference. It had held this role for one season in 1994 prior to the team's move to St. Louis. That same season, Channel 11 aired two home interconference contests featuring the Raiders during their last season in Los Angeles. During the NFL regular season, Rams games are rotated with KNBC Channel 4 through NBC's Sunday Night Football, KABC TV Channel 7 through its Monday Night Football simulcast with ESPN, as well as national ABC broadcasts, and most especially KCBS TV Channel 2 through the NFL on CBS. Since 2017, it has also broadcast Los Angeles Chargers games featuring a visiting NFC team, or games that are cross-flexed from CBS, with some select games from either team carried by Channel 13 if both teams are playing at the same time, and that's pretty rare that happens. Beginning in the 2018 season, the station began airing Thursday Night Football, which is simulcast on NFL Network. And if either one of the two LA teams are playing, it serves as the local area station for game day telecasts, even if it is exclusive to NFL Network. This practice has generally continued even after Amazon Prime Video began airing Thursday night games in 2022. Okay, now on to their news operation. KTTV presently broadcasts 59 and a half hours of local newscasts each week, with 11 and a half hours Monday through Fridays and 2 hours each on Saturdays and Sundays. This gives Channel 11 the second largest local news output of any television station in Los Angeles, behind CW owned and operated KTLA Channel 5, which broadcasts 96 hours and 50 minutes of weekly newscasts. Channel 11 also produces The Issue Is, a political discussion program hosted by Alex Michelson, which airs Friday nights at 10:30. And is also syndicated to other Fox stations across California, including KTVU Channel 2 in the San Francisco Bay Area, and KSWB-TV Channel 69 in San Diego. As is standard with Fox stations that carry early evening news, weekend newscasts, the Saturday and Sunday newscasts at 5 p.m. are subject to delay or preemption due to network sports coverage. And that's going to be coming up soon here with college football season starting in a few weeks. And then you have the NFL season starting 1 month from today. KTTV operates a Bell 407 branded on air as Sky Fox to provide aerial coverage of breaking news stories. KTTV previously operated 2 helicopters. One of them, known as Sky Fox 2, was destroyed after it crashed at Van Nuys Airport in 2000. Throughout its history, the station has always operated a news department, partly owing to its former ties to the Los Angeles Times. KTTV aired an 8 p.m. newscast from 1984 to 1987, and it also briefly moved its 10 p.m. news to 11 in 1986 in order to compete with existing local newscasts in that same time slot on channels 7, 4, and 2. The network's format initially was unchanged, but the 8 p.m. edition was later dropped, while the 11 p.m. newscast reverted back to its previous 10 o'clock slot shortly after News Corporation took over MetroMedia in the fall of 1987. During this time period, the station also experimented with newscasts during middays and at midnight. In June 1993, the station launched a new morning news program called Good Day LA, a program that was inspired by sister station WNYW's Good Day New York, which debuted in 1988. On July 14, 2008, KTTV launched a half-hour 10 a.m. newscast following Good Day LA as the station's first midday newscast since the mid-1980s. Channel 11 is currently the only station in Los Angeles to have a local newscast in that 10 a.m. time slot. KTTV and KCOP began producing its local newscasts in high definition on October 15, 2008. On December 1st of that year, KTTV fully took over production of Channel 13's 11 p.m. newscast, which was reduced from an hour to 30 minutes and retitled Fox News at 11, marking the end of a Channel 13 produced and branded newscast. The newscast on Channel 13 then became anchored by KTTV's 10 p.m. anchors, Carlos Amezcua and Christine Devine, as it was considered as an extension of the earlier newscasts. In the case of Channel 13, all of its newscasts on that station were eliminated on September 22, 2013. On December 8, 2008, KTTV debuted a half-hour midday newscast at noon on weekdays. Then on April 27, 2009, Channel 11 introduced Good Day LA Today, a recap program airing at 12:30 that featured select segments featured on that day's edition of Good Day LA. The show has since been replaced by TMZ on TV. On April 12, 2010, the station expanded its weekday morning newscast by a half hour to 4:30 a.m. Until September 12, 2011, KTTV was one of only two Fox-owned and operated stations, the other being WFLD in Chicago, that did not have an early evening newscast on weeknights and or weekends. This would change when Channel 11 launched an hour-long 5 p.m. newscast on that date called Studio 11 LA. On June 30th, 2014, the noon newscast would extend from 30 minutes to 1 hour. On April 28, 2016, KTTV changed the name of its 5 p.m. newscast to Fox 11 5 o'clock news, using the same anchors from Studio 11 LA, and weekend early evening newscasts became known as Fox 11 Weekend News. In September of 2018, Channel 11 canceled its half-hour 10 a.m. newscast. On December 10th of that year, Fox 11 Morning News adapted the Good Day LA brand, expanding the newscast from 7 a.m. to 4:30 a.m. And then on April 1st of 2019, Good Day LA would expand to 4 a.m. Then in September of 2022, Good Day LA expanded to 10 a.m., running until 11 a.m. Channel 11 also canceled its midday newscast in the same month. Anonymous News Report. On July 26, 2007, KTTV aired a report on the hacktivist group Anonymous, calling them a group of quote-unquote hackers on steroids, domestic terrorists, and collectively an quote-unquote internet hate machine. The report, which became the source for numerous internet memes, featured an unnamed former hacker, in quotation marks again, who have fallen out with Anonymous and expanded his view of the anonymous culture. In addition, the report also mentioned raids on Habbo, a national campaign to spoil the new Harry Potter book ending, and threats to bomb sports stadiums. Interesting. Okay, notable current on-air staff includes Christine Devine, who's been at the station as an anchor since 1990. Reporter Laura Diaz, 2012 to the present. Gigi Graciette, reporter, 2002 to the present. Araxia Karapetian, anchor, 2012 to the present. I hope I didn't mess up his name. Jennifer Lammers, anchor, 2023 to the present, so she's basically new to the station. Maria Cuivan, weather anchor, 2000 to the present. Gina Silva, general assignment and investigative reporter, 2001 to the present. And Maria Tellez, anchor and reporter since 2014. She is the cousin of Roddy Tellez, who plays baseball for the Milwaukee Brewers. Notable former on-air staff include Carlos Amezcua, anchor, 2007 to 2013. John Beard, an anchor at the station from 1993 to 2007. Rod Burnson, helicopter reporter. Tony Cox, an anchor and reporter. Steve Edwards, an anchor at the station from 1995 to 2017. Hal Fishman, anchor and reporter. Courtney Friel, reporter. David Garcia, anchor and reporter. Lisa Joyner, entertainment reporter. Steve Kometko, reporter, 2007 to 2008. Carol Lynn, weekend anchor and reporter. Dorothy Lucy, Good Day LA co-host and entertainment anchor. Gene Martinez, former morning anchor. Lisa McCree, former fill-in anchor. Antonio Mora, anchor. Michael Pereira, anchor and reporter, 2020 to 2022. George Putnam, anchor. Jillian Reynolds, or Jillian Barbary, Good Day LA co-host and weather reporter from 1995 to 2012. Bill Ritter, reporter. Lauren Sanchez, former entertainment reporter and special projects reporter and fill-in anchor. Maria Sanson, Good Day LA co-host and anchor. John Shawada, political reporter. Mark Thompson, chief meteorologist and local program host from 1992 to 2011. And reporters Jane Wells and Bill Welsh. Technical information, subchannels. The station signal is multiplex. Alright, so KTTV has 4 subchannels, and they operate a 5th from its sister station as well. Channels 11.1 and 11.2 broadcast in 720p resolution, high definition, and with a 16:9 aspect ratio. Main Fox programming is seen on 11.1, while Fox Weather airs on 11.2. Meanwhile, channels 11.3 and 11.4 broadcast in 480i high definition with a 16:9 aspect ratio. 11.3 is the newly rebranded comedy network Roar. That's a Sinclair multi-channel, which used to be TBD. And on 11.4 is Catchy Comedy. This used to be the old Decades sub-channel. And then they do host another channel on behalf of its sister station on channel 13.4. Broadcasting in 480i HD and a 16:9 aspect ratio. That's Heroes and Icons, which can be seen on KCOP's 4th digital subchannel. Analog to digital conversion. KTTV shut down its analog signal over VHF channel 11 on June 12, 2009 as part of the federally mandated transition from analog to digital television. The signal's digital signal relocated from its pre-transition UHF channel 65, which was among the high-band UHF channels that were removed from broadcasting use as a result of the transition, to its analog era VHF channel 11. Alright, KTTV operates 4 translator stations across Southern California. They operate K21MH channel 21 in Daggett, K27ON channel 27 in Lucerne Valley, K06IQ channel 6 up in Newberry Springs, and K17GJ channel 17 in 29 Palms, California. And that is a look at the history of KTTV from its early days as a CBS station under Times Mirror, and then under MetroMedia ownership, up until the days they became a Fox-owned and operated television station and the West Coast affiliate of the West Coast flagship of the network. Sorry about that. Alright, our next station we'll be taking a look at in episode 19 will be KTLA channel 5, so make sure you join me for that. In the meantime, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, ring the bell, and get notified every time I go live. Big Al signing off. Thanks for watching, and join me again next time for episode 19 of Television Station History. Peace out.